All right, everybody, welcome back to Mealtime News. I'm your host, Henry. And before we even get started today, I wanted to quickly say thank you to everybody that subscribed to the YouTube channel or followed me on TikTok. I love making these videos. I love talking about politics. I would do it for fun even if nobody subscribed, but it really does mean a lot when people watch the videos and enjoy them. So thank you to everyone. Okay, we got a lot of good news to get into today. We're going to talk about Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader. He froze up again in front of cameras. We're going to talk about how Philadelphia is saying that a white artist can't sculpt a sculpture of Harriet Tubman. We're going to talk about this kid in Colorado who got suspended from school for wearing a "Don't Tread on Me" patch on his backpack. And we're going to talk about the Pope saying that a lot of U.S. Catholics have a quote-unquote backwards, narrow view of the church. So to start with the Mitch McConnell story, he's the Senate Majority Leader. And for those of you who don't know, the Senate is one of two houses of Congress in the federal government. It's part of the legislative branch. And he's the majority leader, which means he is the leader of the party that's currently in the majority in the Senate, which is the Republicans. He froze up again in front of cameras. So if you don't remember, there was this weird moment like a month or two ago where he froze up and didn't say anything after a reporter asked him a question.
And a string of
And some people speculated that he was having a stroke. His office responded to that one just saying that he felt lightheaded and dizzy, that it was nothing to worry about. Well, it happened again. So people have been calling on Mitch McConnell to step down for a while. To put it in reference, his age is 81 and President Biden's age is 80. People have been talking about President Biden being too old for a long time. He did suffer from a head injury last fall, so we're hoping for the best for him, obviously, but maybe that contributed to some of the problems that he's facing right now. Okay, next story. Philadelphia is now saying that a white artist shouldn't be the one to sculpt a statue of Harriet Tubman. So for those who don't know, Harriet Tubman is this hero of the antebellum South where she rescued and freed a bunch of slaves through the Underground Railroad. According to Chris Kuo at the New York Times, about a year ago, the city of Philadelphia invited an artist to design a statue of Harriet Tubman that would stand in front of City Hall. So the city solicited a bunch of submissions, basically tryouts, if you will, from a bunch of different artists, and the one that they ended up selecting was one from an artist who happened to be white. A bunch of people complained and said that the artist who was commissioned should have been a black person. So let's look at the arguments from both sides. So those who criticize the city's use of a white artist say that this should have been an opportunity to fund a black artist at a time when black artists get less funding and less notoriety than do their white counterparts. Critics also say that white artists don't have the same experience of what it's like to be black in the United States, and so can't accurately convey through the emotion of the statue as good of a Harriet Tubman. In other words, black artists might have a unique experience living in the United States that allows for them to make this statue mean something more. Those who defend the city's use of a white artist say that everybody should be able to admire Harriet Tubman and her legacy no matter what race they are. They also say that the city just chose the best design and that they didn't factor in the race of the artist, and so the best design should be the one that gets put up by the city. Some of Harriet Tubman's descendants actually weighed in and released a statement on the city's website. They said Harriet Tubman worked with people of all races who were like-minded, and Mr. Wooford, the artist in this case, is like-minded. All right, next story. A 12-year-old kid was just suspended from school for wearing a "Don't Tread on Me" flag on his backpack. So this took place at an elementary school in Colorado Springs. The flag is called the Gadsden flag. It was used in the period of the Revolutionary War. The "Don't Tread on Me" obviously referring to the British overreach and kind of monarchical control that the colonists felt overstepped the bounds of what the British government should do. These days, the flag is mainly used by libertarians and people that just don't like the government very much. So the school official that suspended this kid said that the flag is tied up with slavery. So Republicans are arguing against this, saying that the flag, one, had nothing to do with slavery. It was about federalism, if anything, right? It was about colonists having more control of their own personal affairs than the bigger central government that existed back in the United Kingdom. And Republicans respond to the point that now, these days, the flag is used by white supremacist groups and it's imbued with a new meaning that didn't exist at the time that it was created by saying that Nazis and white nationalists used the American flag. That doesn't mean the American flag is racist. Democrats, on the other hand, are arguing that regardless of its original meaning, some white supremacy groups are now using this flag and kind of treating it like their insignia. Not all Democrats, though. Some Democrats, like Jared Polis, who's the governor of the state in which this took place, came out in support of the kid and said the kid should be able to wear the "Don't Tread on Me" patch on his backpack. For what it's worth, I'm pretty confident that 9 out of 10 12-year-olds couldn't identify "Don't Tread on Me" flag and couldn't explain to you what it really means. Okay, final story. The Pope says that many U.S. Catholics have a backwards, narrow narrow view of the church. So Pope Francis, the current pope, is one of, if not the most liberal popes that's ever been at the head of the Catholic Church. He's been called out for saying things like atheists can go to heaven, which seemed like a change from traditional Catholic doctrine. He's also been a huge proponent of climate change and addressing it, saying that climate change is a senseless war against creation. And to the point that American Catholics aren't super fond of the current pope, there's a new Pew Research Center survey that finds growing discontent with Francis among Catholics on the political right, with increasing shares of Catholic Republicans saying they view Francis unfavorably. So those who defend the Pope say that culture is shifting and the Church's doctrine ought to shift with it. Those who criticize the Pope point to the fact that, in the United States at least, the Catholic parishes with the increasing numbers are those that are the most conservative. People go to church to get this moral framework that they can't find anywhere else in their life. And if they're not getting it, they don't really see the point of waking up every Sunday to go. They also say that to the extent that they're fighting culture war battles, that it's in service of the mission of the Bible, and that they're living out the values of the Bible in the context of modern American politics. All right, guys, this has been Mealtime News. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who subscribed or followed us on TikTok. Really enjoy making these videos, and I'm really glad that people enjoy watching them. All right, see you guys tomorrow.